Namaste and welcome to Tridevi Chamunda Mandir in Denver, Colorado. This is Yamajit. Thank you so very much for joining me for part 17 of our 64 Yogini series. And tonight we are honoring the goddess and yogini Ma Chinnamasta. In fact, this has kind of been Chinnamasta week. So after Navaratri, I was looking at the next installment for this series was going to be. Saw that it was Ma Chinnamasta. And I happened to stumble upon her 108 names, which we did as a meditation on Tuesday. And there's two versions of that that you can watch and meditate to currently on the channel. I want to say namaste to Kim, who's joining us, and anybody else who's tuning in at the moment. Please feel free to say hello using the chat function on the bottom of your screen. And just a reminder that this coming Tuesday will be our next meditation based on one of the goddess-centered scriptures. And then next Friday is going to be a special Cho practice. And this one is going to be kind of a repeat of one that I've done before. It's the laughter of the Khandros, that is the laughter of the Dakinis, Cho from the Bon tradition. Last time I shared this with you, I did it just solely in English, and actually that was the first time that this particular one has been done in English on YouTube. I'm going to do the same Cho both in English and in Tibetan, and rather than a guided healing meditation, I'm going to be sharing it for the purpose of clearing malevolent energies from the place where you live. So your house or the house of somebody that you're close to, we're going to use that ceremony essentially to do a clearing and a blessing on your house and surroundings. So again, welcome, namaste, and namaste to Deborah, who's joining us right now. And let's get right into the satsang. I'm going to be referring a lot to this painting here on our main altar. This is actually a Tibetan Tanka version of Ma Chinnamasta. And actually, I'm going to try to zoom in here a little bit closer to it. Just bear with me. There we go. So you can see a little bit closer just really this beautiful piece of art. This is hand painted, and the appropriate chants were being said over it as it was being painted. Jamie and I found this at a Tanka store in Kathmandu last time we were there in 2018. So we see Ma Chinnamasta in the center, she who severs her own head, and her two daughters, Dakini and Varnini, who I'll say more about. And namaste to Elizabeth. So Chinnamasta means severed head. This is a yogic metaphor for going beyond our attachments to the body and thought-based mind, and to go beyond expectation. In other words, this is part of the journey to true awareness. So Kali, and this is kind of a review of some things we talked about during Navaratri week. Kali initiates this process. Bhairavi, very similar figure, represents taking the initiative to transform ourselves, and Chinnamasta is the result. She is our liberation and our empowerment. So the pathway from Kali to Bhairavi, and I would also include Tara, Tripura Sundari, Bhuvaneshvari, those Mahavidya goddesses. So Kali through Bhairavi, this is a path of self-healing. So when striving towards self-actualization, the true healing then takes place when we realize the divine presence both within as well as without. And then we reach a point where we can no longer contain that healing within us, and we become conduits for it, for those around us. So as we heal and grow, we discover new talents and the need to share them with those around. So Chinnamasta is therefore the divine mother of seva, selfless service to others as a form of sadhana, as a form of spiritual practice. And really the mission behind why we engaged in healing in the first place. So we see her pictured with her head severed by her own sword. In other accounts, she severs her head with her fingernails. There are 3 streams of blood gushing from her neck to nourish both she and her 2 daughters. So according to the Tasani Tantra, Parvati, that is Chandika, also known as Chandika, became sexually excited while bathing, and as a result, her skin turned black like Ma Kali's. And at the same time, her 2 female attendants or daughters, Dakini, meaning sky dancer, and Varnani, meaning woman, became extremely hungry and began to beg for food. And though Parvati initially promised to give them food once they returned home, later the merciful goddess beheaded herself and gave them her blood to satisfy her hunger. Chinnamasta is literally the mother who gives everything for her children. So the central stream of blood running to the mouth of the goddess represents the central energy channel, the Sushumna Nadi, and the blood is touching her tongue, indicating the power of mantra, the power of the word. The right stream goes to Varnani, who we see in red in color. This is Pingala Nadi, the solar channel, and this is the more dynamic form of energy. And then the left channel going to the blue Dakini goddess. This represents Ida Nadi, the lunar channel, the more receptive energy. She stands on 2 beings, Kama, the god of love, and Rati, his wife, and they represent the blending of masculine and feminine, dynamic and receptive polarities. And so Chinnamasta therefore represents both the rising of Kundalini energy and awareness, and also the need to give oneself for a greater cause. Ma Chinnamasta is also called Prachanda Chandika, the fiercest form of Kali, related to Ma Bhairavi. Chandi means she who tears apart thoughts. And we can think of those thoughts as being our inner demons. And those demons which she fights are those of our own ego. So like Bhairavi, Bhairab, or Mahakala, the wrathful form of Shiva, is also her masculine counterpart. So her sword, and sometimes rather than a sword, we see this small chopping blade. And let me grab one here that I can bring in front of the camera, called the Kartika or Triguk. And this is a flaying blade that in the old days would have been used to dismember a body in sky burial. So the sword or this blade represents the power of discrimination, and her head liberated consciousness. Her rather disheveled and lightning-like hair and flashing eyes represent direct perception of the absolute. She's also related to the storm goddess Indrani, the Shakti of the storm god Indra, who's been compared to other gods of thunder and lightning like the Norse god Thor. She is also called Vajra Vairochini, or she who is effulgent with the thunderbolt. Vajra means both diamond and also lightning. It is this indestructible power that can cut through anything. She is also the great Dakini or Yogini, Vajra Yogini, the feminine Buddha. And I have an antique Vajra Yogini, which I'll show you here. There we go. And you notice she's in a very similar position to what Chinnamasta has assumed in the painting. So Vajra Yogini is definitely based on the Kali or Chamunda archetype. And she, like Kali, is naked, and she stands either on a corpse or upon Kalaratri and Bhairab. And I have a smaller Vajra Yogini, which I'll bring over here. Let's see if I can somehow focus on that. I'll give it a try. So sometimes under her feet is a god and a goddess. And the god figure is Bhairab or Mahakala or Shiva. And the other is a female figure called Kalaratri, or the Night of Time. Notice she's holding that same little curved knife. She's also holding a skull cup, representing the transformation of consciousness. And then she's holding a skull staff called a Khatvanga. And I'll say a little bit more about that in a little bit here. Here's another version of one of her more wrathful forms. And this is Vajravadahi, and you see she's holding the same kinds of instruments. Those are two yak bone carvings. Her most wrathful form is Ma Tromanagamo, also known as Krodh Kali, or the wrathful Kali, and we happen to have a Tromanagamo image here on the doors of the altar cabinet. Also, we've done several Cha practices dedicated to Tromanagamo. So we see that both Vajra Yogini and Chinnamasta are often shown surrounded by an archway of fire, and this represents transformation and enlightenment. She wears a crown of 5 skulls, which represent both mastery of change and also the transformation of our inner poisons into wisdom. And she also wears a necklace of heads or skulls, and those are our transformed thoughts. The Kapala, the skull bowl, which both her daughters are holding, and we see the Dakinis holding. This is actually a smaller Southeast Asian version of a Kapala. This would be probably from somewhere like Myanmar, formerly known as Burma. And the Southeast Asian style of Kapala, it's actually the dome of the forehead that's made into a bowl. So I want to refer to her, the Chasati Yogini, the Hirapur image of Chinnamasta, and she's a bit different. So, for one thing, we notice that her head is intact, and she is actually standing upon a head down here, which unfortunately has been kind of obscured by this floral offering that a pilgrim has left. But I have a divination deck card based on this, and we can see, let me see if I can get this into focus for us. There we go. So that's closer to what the actual head upon which Chinnamasta is standing. This particular artist, the Italian artist Luisa Spagna, who authored this deck, used a little bit of imagination. He has Chinnamasta holding a sword and a bow and an arrow. When we look at the actual carving on which this is based, of course, the hands and the instruments have been broken away over time. So it's kind of up to some guesswork as to what she may have actually been holding. I can see where the author of the divination deck thought that that might be a bow here, but it's just as likely that this is a katvanga or skull staff. I'm going to show you a more detailed version of this. So this is a staff or a wand, and there are three heads. The first one is a head which is freshly cut, the second one in a state of decomposure, and the third completely skeletonized. And this again represents not just mastery over change, but also the letting go of our attachments. So I think it's very likely that the Chinnamasta in the Hirapur image was holding something very similar to this. Usually Chinnamasta is shown with two arms, such as the one in our painting. And I'm going to get this in focus again and get the camera trained on it. It's a little bit better. But we do find very rare images of Chinnamasta with four arms. And this is one actually from Jamie's, my wife's collection. And we see she's got the sword and her own head. She's holding a skull cup, and she is showing the mudra of giving gifts. The gifts we receive by being able to transcend our fears and attachments. So it's quite likely this image might have been holding a skull cup, may have been holding a severed head, may have been holding a skull staff. I think most certainly a sword would have been among these things. And she may have also been holding both mudras of dispelling fear and giving boons. So as I mentioned, Chinnamasta and Vajra Yogini are really one and the same. Vajra Yogini's Bij mantra, and I'm going to see if I can get this to show up on the screen here. And this is her mandala, is the syllable Vam. And then the seed syllable of Ma Chinnamasta is Hum. And then there's a very powerful mantra to Vajra Yogini, also her more wrathful forms like Tromanagmo. And we're actually going to use that as our opening for our puja, and that is Om Ah Hum. And there's a physical correspondence to these three seed mantras. Om is in the third eye area, Ah in the area of the throat chakra, and Hum in the heart center. And so with that, let's go ahead and begin our fire puja. So I'm going to zoom us back out here and get us in focus. And reposition the camera to show our full altar. There we go. And I invite you to find a comfortable seated position. Let your eyes be relaxed and your gaze be relaxed as you look upon your screen for our meditation and puja. Let your spine be straight. Maybe roll your shoulders back to open the chest. Let your hands just rest comfortably on your knees. And let's just begin by doing some deep breathing as we do so often. Breathing deeply. Letting go of the concerns of past and future. And bringing our awareness into this present moment. Letting the things which stand in the way, like worries, concerns, distractions, let those exit your being with each out-breath. And let both relaxation and openness increase with each in-breath. And then slowly bringing the palms of your hands together at your heart center. And taking a moment to silently connect with whichever form of the Divine Mother that you're closest to. And there are so many of her forms wrapped up in Ma Chinnamasta. And think of some aspect of your life that is ready for healing or resolution, or something you need guidance in. Or maybe there's somebody close to you who's in need of some divine assistance. But formulate your thoughts around those things into an intention that taking part in tonight's practice will be just a giant step toward that healing, toward that resolution, toward receiving that knowledge that you or another person needs. And we'll begin our practice by chanting Om Ah Hum, which will also be our puja mantra. So inhale Om real deep. Inhale, ah. Ah. Inhale, hum. Om. Jema, Chinnamasta. Om Pavitra Pavitrova Sarvavastam Gatopiva Yashmade Pandarikaksham Sabhyabhyanta Sushi. Om Shuklam Bharadhanam Vishnum Sashivanam Shutovijam Prasnavanam Dayat Sava Vigno Pasantaye. Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshvara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah. Jai Guru. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sagandim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukameva Bandhanan Mrityur Mukshiyamamritahat. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Jayanti Mangalakali Bhadrakali Kapalini Durga Shama Shiva Datri Svasvadanamostute Jayatvam Devi Chamunde Jayabhutitaharani Jaya Sarvagate Devi Kalaratri Namostute. Jemakali. Om Varochenye Cha Vidmae Chinnamastaye Cha Dhimai Tano Devi Prachodayat. Jema Chinnamasta. Jema Chinnamasta. Jema Chinnamasta Devi. Om Ahom. 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 Om Chinnamastaye Devi Nama. Chinnamasta. Om Kapuragodam Karanavataram Samsara Saram Bhujagendra Haram Sada Santam Hridayada Vinde Bhavam Bhivani Saitam Namami Devi Prapanote Hare Prasida Prasida Matara Jagata Kilasya Prasida Vishvesvara Pe Vishvam Tvamishora Devi Chachara Charasya. Om Agni Jyotir Jyotiagnir Svaha Agni Jyotir Jyotiagnir Svaha Agni Jyotir Jyotiagnir Svaha. So I invite you now to join me in chanting the mantra Om Hum Namah. 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 Om 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 Chinnamasta Namah. Jema Chinnamasta. Jema Chinnamasta. Jema Chinnamasta Devi Namah. So I invite you to continue to look upon your screen and upon our fire with a relaxed gaze. And I invite you to think about something that is an unhealthy attachment or an old pattern that you're ready to give up. Or just anything that may be holding you back at this time from being who you truly are. And imagine yourself holding your hands forward, and appearing in your hands is a severed head, symbolizing all those things. Imagine yourself looking at it. What does it feel like? Is it light? Is it heavy? Is it freshly cut? Is it decomposing? Is it simply a skull? Is it solid? Is it hollow? and anything else you might notice in your mind's eye. And then imagine yourself coming over to the fire and offering that severed head to the fire, just dropping it into the flames. And then moving back and being seated like you are, looking at the flames, and feel those energies being transformed and being given back to you through the heat and through the light of the flame. So as you meditate upon the flame, upon the heat, upon the light, notice first what it feels like to have given that offering. Is it like a weight off of your shoulders? Is it like you're starting with a clean slate again? Or some other feeling? And then, while concentrating on the heat and the light of the flame, breathing deeply. And what is that transformed energy that you're feeling now feeling like? Are you just aware of the light, maybe the light that will give you guidance? Are you just noticing warmth? The warmth where there was once an empty or cold void. Maybe some release on a physical level as you do this meditation. No right or wrong responses, just take a moment and be aware of whatever manifests. And when you notice that sensation, continue to breathe and feel it expanding, bigger, bigger, slowly filling your being and preparing you for the days ahead. And just feel gratitude from the Divine Mother for receiving this blessing from her and acknowledging her presence within and without at all times. Sometimes we get ourselves into trouble when we forget about that presence. Let that presence become just a constant part of your awareness from this point forward. Chinnamasta. 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 Divye Namah. Om Sarvamangala Mangaye Shiva Svada Sadike Saranye Triambake Devi Narayane Namostute. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamashoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityoma Mritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Om. Jai Ganesha. Jai Guru. Om Namah Shivaya. Jai Ma Devi. Jai Ma Kali. Jai Mata Di. Jai Mata Di. Jai Mata Di. Jai Ma Chinnamasta. Jai Ma Vajra Yogini. Jai Ma Vajravadahi. Jai Ma Tromanagmo. Jai Mata Di. Jai Mata Di. Jai Mata Di. And namaste. Blessings always. Thank you so very much for joining me tonight. Know you can replay this broadcast at any time when you want to do this meditation again. Look forward to you joining me on Tuesday. And Jai Ma. Jai Ma. Jai Ma. Thank you. So I hope that you enjoyed that. I wish you a wonderful, relaxing day and or night ahead, depending on what time you may be watching this. And I look forward to you joining me on Tuesday at 7 p.m. And I'm going to be doing a special meditation related to the fact that we're passing from April into May, from spring into summer. So 7 o'clock here on YouTube. You can always join us in person at our temple, 1260 South Xavier Street in Denver, Colorado. Oh, hope you heard that. Some rolling thunder across the sky. Very auspicious, I think. So again, thank you so very much. And I would recommend spending some time in quiet meditation before resuming your normal activities. And Elizabeth, thank you. And Deborah and Kim and anyone else who is joining right now. And Jema. Thank you again. And have a wonderful night.